Well, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to How to Optimize Career Success at the Leadership Level. I hope that your Friday is off to a good start. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever your time zone is, please feel free to take this time to do something you don't normally do. Turn off work emails, turn off distractions, and just tune into you and what your needs are. And if you need some help being present and being centered, I recommend just taking 3 deep breaths. By the way, that's a great strategy to help you transition from work into something other than work so you can try to fully release your mind from whatever might be jogging around it. Well, I'm glad you've joined us because today the session is all about you. And to give you a sense of how this plays out, I always like to share stories of clients that I'm working with. I'm in the process of working with a very talented leader. She is an executive director at a large pharma company. And one of the things we've been working on a lot is revisiting her definition of success. So, what happened when she came to me is that she had been under an immense amount of stress on top of all the responsibilities in a senior level marketing role or a senior level leadership role in general. um, she had had a lot of success, so she continued to rise in her career. She got accolades not only from those around her, her peers, as well as people in senior positions above her, but also her team, the team that she was leading. And so there was a lot of things she was doing right. She also had 2 young kids at home, and as we all know, going through the pandemic, those of you who kept down leadership roles and then also tried to juggle childcare responsibilities, we saw burnout hit an unprecedented rate. So that was also happening in the background, why her husband also had an extremely demanding job, so she didn't really have a break through the week or on the weekends. Um, the other thing that she was doing, which was interesting from a leadership perspective, is when her direct reports couldn't figure something out, she'd just jump in and take the task off their plates and complete it herself. So, as you can see, she had 3 things on her plate that just kept piling and piling and piling. Just her natural leadership responsibilities at work, her 2 young kids that she was trying to be actively involved in their lives, as well as a leader kind of jumping in and completing tasks for her direct reports just to get it over the finish line. Externally, she looked extremely successful. She was getting all kinds of um, positive feedback about her performance. Internally, she was crumbling. When she came to me, she was at her breaking point. She had trouble sleeping at night. She would constantly fight tears throughout the day. It was like this overwhelming wave that kept rising in her chest to the point where she just felt like she was going to drown. Of course, she was very controlled. Nobody saw this from the outside, but internally she was about to implode. So what we started to work on was, what was her definition of success? And what we found is the definition of success that she'd set for herself initially had worked for her, because it was to rise as fast as possible in my career and don't take my foot off the gas until I get compliments and recognition for my work. And so wrapped into this definition was giving her heart and soul to work, even though her world had changed as she'd had children. They were not a part of this definition of success, although they were extremely important. And in addition, this definition of success required external validation, which is super, super dangerous. But I see it all the time, and at an unconscious level too. So through coaching, what we've worked on for her, was to really look at this definition of success and try to understand if it had encompassed all the things that were priorities in her life. Um, she's getting to a place where she no longer needs other people to define her value. She's finding that within herself. huge, huge pivot and switch that will help her continue to climb in her career, and not get sidetracked when she meets people who are not supportive. We also incorporated her top values into her definition of success. Yes, accomplishment and achievement, that was baked into her original definition of success, but it also takes into consideration two of her top values, her family and her emotional health. And so now I'm pleased to report that she has been doing great. She actually, since she's gone through this process, she was recruited by an external organization. Her current organization came back to her and gave her the highest honors and this special award in marketing that's only reserved for the highest performers. And she's got all kinds of opportunities in front of her. And she's learning to talk to herself better and honor the things that are important. So we've got win, 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 win across the board. So welcome. If you are looking to optimize success at the leadership level, today we're going to dive into some things that are really going to help you and be very actionable for you. I'd love to hear comments, questions that you have along the way. Just type them in chat. And let's make this as applicable to your situation as possible. So the three things that we're going to cover today are, first, how to uncover if you're operating under old rules for success. 2, finding a definition of success that works for you. And 3, putting practices in place today to catapult you towards your version of success. So if you don't have a paper and pencil nearby, I encourage you to grab one now. First, just want to ask y'all, when you think of the word success, what are some things that come to mind for you? Please just share it in the chat and let's see how this varies from person to person, because this is so different across personalities. So what are some things that come to mind for you when you think of the word success? As people start to populate their thoughts in the chat box, and please don't be shy. It's Friday. Let's be chatty. Let's get to know each other and make it fun. Here are some signs that you might be operating under old rules of success. If your level of fulfillment at work between a level of 1 and 10 is at a 6 or below, you may be operating under old rules of success. If you feel burnt out to an extreme, which I know a lot of us do right now, you may be operating under old rules of success. If your negative self-narrative is loud, and you guys know what I'm talking about, this shows up as imposter syndrome, rumination, regret, acute focus on your perceived downfalls instead of focusing on your strengths and what you do bring to the table. This looks like at night when you put your head on the pillow, all you think about is the things you didn't do right today that you should have done differently. You may be operating under old rules of success. And finally, another cue that this is happening is you find yourself jealous of other people's lives or their jobs or their leadership style. If you are in this mode of constantly comparing yourself to others and thinking that you don't stack up, you may be operating under old rules of success. Now, I exclusively work with corporate leaders, and what I've seen time and again, I saw this for myself and I see this for my clients, is that things change as you rise in your career, right? So your responsibility, your scope, your priorities, things change. What worked for you in the past when you were an individual contributor doesn't work for you as you get into these senior leadership roles in the C-suite. So as we're individual contributors, we tend to just do everything ourselves. And as you get up into more senior leadership roles, because your scope increases, if you are in this mode of doing everything yourself and not leveraging your team, you are going to burn out 100%. So there's very much an art to learning how to delegate and also developing trust that enables you to do that. And certainly along with that comes hiring the right people and making sure that you get people off the bus who aren't the right fit for you in the organization. So let's talk about your definition of success. Um, this not only comes into how you think about this for yourself, but how you manage your team as well. So this has a halo effect. And when you recalibrate your definition of success to one that really takes in all of your values and all the things that you care about, you're going to see um, not only yourself benefit, but those around you as well. So let me give you an example. An old definition of success, or a definition of success in general, could be to make as much money as possible. Now, a lot of people coming straight out of college, this is what we hear, and that's a good time to be focused on that. Other definitions of success: live every day as if it was my last. So very different perspective, very different lens, both defining the same word just from a different perspective. Another definition of success: creating a legacy by developing my people to live up to their full potential. So as you think about that person's priorities, it's very much focused on developing others, and giving back, a legacy. That's an important part of it. So you might already be cluing in on this, but an important way to determine what your definition of success is and should be is by taking your top values into consideration. So take a minute right now to just think about, what is your current definition of success? And I'd love for you all to share, if you feel comfortable, in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up a document to help you kind of put this in perspective and to think about this. So, what is your definition of success? If you're getting stuck, here are some key values that you'll want to consider as you put together your definition of success. And by the way, this is let me get rid of this banner. This is not an exhaustive list. There's so many more values beyond what you just see here. But a great way to start by defining your definition of success is by first really determining what your top values are. So here's a list. From this, look through this list, and those values where it starts to pull on your heartstrings, write those down. Write those down, and we're going to get to your top 3 to 5 values. Here are some more values. Keep looking through all these. Anything that's just jumping out at you, or you feel like you're really connecting with, you feel like there's a lot of energy and excitement, or a connection to your heart, to your soul when you see this word, then there's certainly something there. So what are your top 3 to 5 values? And by the way, if you want me to send this to you, I'd be happy to. Just shoot me a message, and we'll make sure that you get that. Let me give you another example of what this looks like, when this comes in, when a client is actively engaged in focusing on their definition of success and rebuilding a life that really honors a definition of success that makes sense for them. I had another client come to me who'd been in the talent recruitment part of corporate for quite some time, and he'd gotten to a senior role in his career, and he found that he would hop from company to company, but the same thing kept happening. He just got to this place where he felt marginalized, and his voice wasn't heard, and he couldn't have the impact that he was looking to make because the companies just weren't set up to support the vision that they had for talent recruitment and development. But for him, because he was such a high achiever, and probably many of you can relate to this, he constantly beat himself up and went to the conclusion of, something must be wrong with me. When we started working together, there was a lot that we had to untangle as it related to this really negative self narrative. And after some time working together, what he realized is that he had chosen a profession that bred environments that were in conflict with his core values. And so, of course, he wasn't showing up the way that he wanted to because he wasn't in an environment that was really fostering the type of place that he wanted to be, the place where his top values were honored. So there was just this constant friction and conflict. As we worked together, he began to realize that there was nothing wrong with him. He just was in the wrong place. So, as I often find when I work with clients, he continued one more time. He hopped jobs, tried the same thing, and just put this to the test. Sort of the same recipe, and it was the exact same outcome. He ended up overwhelmed, feeling marginalized, didn't have a voice in the company. And here again, he was a senior leader, and he just kept hitting a wall. So over time, what he took a break, he stepped away, and what he realized is these were not the right environments for him. He was never going to find an environment in the place that he was in that honored his core values. So guess what, you guys? He went and got his broker's license, and now he's on his way to being a successful real estate agent in Chicago. And he is so happy, regained his confidence, and on the road to success. So, as we talk about optimizing success at the leadership level, a lot of this just starts with internal work, making sure that you are operating in an environment and making daily decisions that align with your definition of success. So, one of the other reasons that it's important to think about what your definition of success is not only if you realize, hey, you're operating under old rules for success, it can take you away from um, this place of self blame and self deprecation, take you up to a 10,000-foot view, which is so important, as you all know, looking at the forest instead of the trees. This is an important skill in leadership, is you can kind of look at what's happening objectively. Oh, it's not me. I'm just, I'm in the wrong environment, or I'm making decisions that don't align with what I want. As soon as you get clear on your values, as soon as you get clear on your definition of success, you will consciously and unconsciously make small and big decisions every single day that will set the trajectory of your career and your life. So this is why it's so important to think about this and really tune into it. Okay, so once you've gotten clear on what your definition of success is and incorporated your top values into that definition, what should you be doing today to catapult you towards your version of success? Here's some really easy, good practices to do. Once you've got that clarity, that focus, that vision, which we do for our companies all the time, right? You have to have that vision and your goals in order to know what to focus on throughout the day. You need to do the same thing for your life. So once you know what your vision is and what your goals are, be very intentional. So a great way to do this is every day when you wake up in the morning, I don't want you to grab your cell phone. That is one of the worst things that you can do, and it's so common. People wake up, they roll out of bed, they grab their cell phone, they open up their email, and they see 50 unanswered emails, even though they worked till 10 or 11 p.m. What does that do? It just starts your day in a deficit. You feel anxious, you gotta go to work, you gotta get back to people. Oh my gosh, what does it say to me that I haven't answered these emails? You wake up in a frenzy. And that sets a really bad tone for your day. And it also pulls you into just getting in this stage of answering emails instead of being really mindful about the strategy that you're working on for the day. So not only is this a good practice in business, but this is a really good practice in life. Instead of grabbing your cell phone the first thing when you wake up in the morning, think about two things. What is one thing that I want to get done today? And what is one thing that I want to let go? If you have that clarity and you are very intentional about it and use it to start your day and kind of set the tone for what you're going to focus on, It will help you start to make decisions that ladder up to your version of success and build the life you want to build as a leader. And it will also enable you to not get sucked into the weeds and pulled into projects and work streams that aren't going to contribute to the bottom line or the company's main goals. Same kind of thing. Make sure the things you are doing are contributing to your main goals and you are not getting pulled into a thousand different directions, which is so easy to do. I've seen this work. I've seen just this small practice of being very intentional in the morning and asking those two questions of what do I want to get done and what do I want to let go today, um, really put people on a very different trajectory in terms of increasing their career success. So, very easy thing to do. The other thing that this will enable you to do is not only stay focused, but put boundaries up where they're needed. Now, the leaders I work with are often surprised when we talk about, hey, if this is what you're shooting for, if this is what's important to you, then why are you doing this stuff? And the answer often is, oh, but if I don't do that, I'm going to get in trouble. Somebody's going to get mad at me. So we're operating under rules that were set in place when we were children, right? Somebody is expecting something of me. If I don't do that, I'm going to get in trouble. What they're often surprised by is when they do say no to meetings or push back on deliverables that don't contribute to the main goals for the organization, or where their presence is not needed in these meetings. When they push back, when they say no, when they decline, nobody bats an eyelash. They're often surprised, and it actually gives them a little bit more leverage because people start to see more of their leadership abilities in their strategic decision making. So, this is something I really encourage you to try. Really try to start to set more boundaries. And so, very limited time that you have is focused in the right areas, both for you personally, in terms of your goals and dreams and where you want to go, and also for your company. Don't get pulled into tasks that are not going to contribute to the high level goals. It's just going to be a waste of everybody's time. Um, Make small decisions every day that honor your definition of success. And if you need a reminder, put your definition of success up somewhere where you can see it. So if it's money, like people sometimes, I'll sometimes have people come to me and say, I need to make more money. Then you will start to go after jobs that offer more money. You will start to ask people um, during review time or when it's an appropriate time what it's going to take for you to get a salary increase. And there's lots of strategies behind this that will help. If your main goal is balance, I need more balance in my life, you start to make decisions where you don't raise your hand to take on that extra task at work that's really not going to get you where you want to go. If your priority is self-care, then you start to block your calendar to work out. And this starts to have a very positive impact across all areas of your life, not only because it increases your confidence, but also because you feel better, you have more energy, your your cup is filled because you're doing something that you've identified that's important to you, and you're more available to others. So, getting clear on what's important to you by defining your definition of success and knowing what your top values are will help you make small yet very powerful decisions every day to make it happen. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? We hear this again and again and again. It's the same kind of thing when you're going after a career progression or something that's very motivating for you in your career. Stay focused on what you want and make small decisions every day that honor that. And eventually you will get there. The other piece of this is believe in yourself. Be very aware of the way you're talking to yourself, your internal narrative, to ensure that it's supporting you on your way to your success. Now, this happens to me every day. I want you to know, I'm a trained coach. This is something I've studied for years and worked on with my clients for years, and I still have to catch myself because there's a lot of shiny pennies. I'll give you an example. I had a meditation app reach out to me recently and said, hey, we want to bring on leadership coaches who can lead meditations. And it was super intriguing to me because I've seen the positive impact meditation had in my life, and I was really drawn to it. But over time, I realized that I wasn't putting in the time to build these meditations. And I looked at that. I looked really closely at that, and what I realized is this didn't ladder up to my overall objectives for the year. It was something that sounded really interesting and really intriguing, but it wasn't getting me to where I wanted to go. Now, that doesn't mean no, never. It just means, I need to stay focused. I need to honor the limited amount of time that I have as a business owner, as a busy mom, and keep keep my activities focused on really what I want to do for the year. So I hope this is helpful for you, and I hope that you've walked away with something that you can apply right away to start to get you into that stream where you can generate more success around you, whatever that means for you. Uh, we are here at Swim Against the Current. We are doing a little survey, and I would love your help with this. So we are just start trying to understand the needs of corporate leaders and their career paths better. So call it corporate research for those of you who are um, in the marketing space. And would greatly appreciate if you take the time to complete a survey for us. It only takes, I think it's a 7-minute survey, and at the end, you'll be invited to schedule some time to connect with me if that appeals to you, to help you solve some of these areas that are identified. If not, that's okay too. Let's honor what's right for you and your time. But we'd really appreciate input just so we can learn more about you and your needs and develop future content that supports your corporate leadership journey. So I'm sorry there's not a way for me to just drop this in so you can copy it and paste it in your in your address bar. Some of the technology is a little bit limited right now, but if you could take a screenshot of this and take this survey, we'd greatly appreciate it. Those of you who RSVP'd, you're going to get a link to this survey also in a follow-up message. Thank you all for spending your Friday with me. Happy weekend, and keep me posted on your journey. Let me know how you decide to redefine your definition of success. And I look forward to hearing what magic comes later. Take care.